lot of women dream of a wedding, but never think about a marriage. They find an average-looking man with an average job, and that's fine for her as long as she gets a fat rock to brag about it on social media and to her friends. The sensation of being desired by a man and envied by women and happiness in all of the attention that she's getting to being newly engaged. She feels like all of her dreams are coming true because everyone has always told her that marriage is the best day of her entire life. So she is excited about the wedding. She romanticizes the married life. She spends months, if not years, planning, and she's getting all of the attention through all of the planning, all of the design, the trips, the parties. She's obsessed with the attention that she's getting from being a fiance and eventually having her wedding day. In fact, her wedding becomes her entire identity, where she might even lose a couple friends because even her friends get tired of hearing about the wedding, but she doesn't care because she's dreamed about this for her entire life. And then poof, it's all gone. The excitement, the love, the romanticizing. She's married. There's no more attention. There's no more excitement. There's no more fulfillment in the future because the future is here and it's boring. No more late night with the girls, no more single life, no more partying. Just get up, work, pay your bills, be an adult, and it's boring. It's mundane. She rolls over, looks at her husband, and realizes that this is not the man that she married. So she starts to think to herself, like, I need a baby. I need to fill this void. I need more excitement. And the crazy part about it is in this quest for attention and happiness, she'll look at her husband and start to think that maybe he's the reason that she's so unhappy because she married wrong. But nope, she'll still decide to have that baby. One, because she still is in love with her husband. And two, because she's so desperate for that hit, that dopamine hit of attention that she's going to get for being pregnant. So she becomes pregnant. She gains all of the attention for carrying a child. Then she's back on that dopamine hit, the attention, the belly rubs, the checkups. Her husband's giving her more praise and more attention. She's getting attention online. She's having the maternity shoot. She's having the baby shower. And she's right back to the beginning where all of the attention is on her all of the time. In fact, she's glamorized motherhood so far that she thinks that she's going to look like these celebrities that has her shit together all of the time, and her house is clean as if she has maids, and all of these things are just going to fall into place. And she's happy about that. But then what happens? She has that baby. There's no more attention. There's no more validation until she becomes a struggling married woman where everything is difficult and it's all her husband's fault because he's working too much, even though she begged for this baby. So now she's crying on the internet about her hormones and how she's all alone, and she soaks herself up in social media advice smothered in, your husband dislikes you if, or he's cheating no matter what, and she starts to believe it. And her neurotic behavior becomes her entire identity in her relationship with her husband. She's lonely, bored, she's uninspired. Being a mom isn't what she thought it was. Motherhood isn't what she thought it was. And everything that she has ever dreamed of and begged for suddenly seems mundane and unfulfilling because she's getting no attention for basically being an adult. No one really cares that she had kids. So she's away from that dopamine hit, that attention, that validation, the stuff that makes her feel good is no longer there. So what does she do? She starts posting her kids online. She becomes a little mommy influencer. And again, she's using her kids to feel that validation and that attention and fill that void that life is suddenly exciting through likes, attention, and validation from other moms. Even though deep down she's resenting her husband the entire time for leaving whenever he wants and being able to be child-free, even though he misses key moments in their kids growing up, but she'll never admit that to herself. She'll never look at him and appreciate him because she feels so resentful that she's not getting the love and care or attention that she deserves. And her husband might even recognize her depression or realize that nothing is filling the void, and he will change everything about himself to cater to her and give her everything that she needs. But what he doesn't know is he can't compete with the instant gratification that she's getting on social media. He doesn't know that he was doomed from the start. He doesn't know that his wife is spending countless hours on social media being filled with garbage about how he's a piece of crap dad and a father that doesn't show up and a husband that does nothing and doesn't fill her emotional needs. And she'll start to believe it. She leaves out the part where she uses all of these things as her primary sources of happiness and uses her husband to fulfill voids, and when he can't, he falls short. So again, he's set up from the start to be letting her down. She's depressed. She's lonely. It's not what she thought it was going to be. And then what happens? All of her friends start getting divorced. They start glamorizing divorce and being single and having fun. And she wasn't thinking about divorce, but now all of a sudden, all of her friends are getting divorced, so she starts thinking about it. And her friend, Susie Q, starts telling her all of the traits of narcissism and all of the toxic behaviors of her ex-husband. And she starts to compare her great financially stable husband to her best friend's ex-husband, and now all of a sudden her great husband is a narcissist. Now she's contemplating divorce. Now she's thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. She sees her friends getting attention and praise for being divorced, for having the empowerment to leave a financially abusive or mentally unstable situation. And she is thinking, oh my God, I want that praise. I want the attention. So leaving my husband is the right thing to do. And she convinces herself that her husband is the problem. So she gets that divorce. She gets to claim that he was abusive and narcissistic. Again, she gets all of the attention and the validation and the dopamine hit that she has had her entire life of people praising her and empowering her for poor choices or making the wrong decision. And she's back in her element because she's getting all of the attention and praise for her divorce. She thinks to herself, it's better this way. She feels like it was all worth it. And she ends up a single mom actually doing it all alone, whereas before she had 50% of help. So she gives up 50% of help for 100% struggle. But it's just the energy and attention she's always needed, and she feels empowered. She's back to herself because she's free. She'll post all over social media that her ex was a narcissist and a piece of crap and all men are shitty. And she'll again get that dopamine hit and that validation from all of the women online that can relate. She'll leave out all of the parts where she never really took her marriage seriously in the first place because all she really wanted was the wedding, not the marriage. She'll leave out the parts where she regrets having children or hates her life choices. Gets more attention than ever, all of the affirmations for being a boss babe queen. She'll transform herself and call herself a queen even though her kids are at home on an iPad not getting any kind of attention or being left with the grandparents or getting a babysitter, and there's no real parenting happening. But she's an independent boss babe who's doing it all on her own. She'll get child support, she'll get alimony, she'll have a part-time little job, and her parents will pick up the slack that her ex-husband no longer can fill as the ex. She'll have distasteful behavior, she'll have multiple guys around her kids, she'll talk about situationships and her horrible dating experiences and get all of the validation yet again through her dating experiences and her life. No one bats an eye at the understanding that this is all a cry for help, a need for attention, and the narcissism spewing out. The constant grandiose personality. She'll fake everything along the way, and she'll say that everyone else is the problem, even though she's repeating the same cycle of needing praise and constant attention. She'll never tell you that she made a permanent decision on temporary feelings. She'll end up with multiple baby daddies, multiple guys, being ran through, not understanding why she can't find a good man, crying on the internet about where did all the men go, where did all the good men go, but she doesn't realize that she left the good man out of boredom. She left the good man because somebody was in her ear telling her that it wasn't a good lifestyle. She will look for that good man in every single man that she dates after that. What's crazy is she will literally continue this cycle until she's burnt out, until she's all I hate men, anti-men, cat lady, 45 years old, wondering what happened in her life. She'll wonder what happened in her life without ever having looked in the mirror to make changes to be a better person. The cycle will continue. Okay, bye.